of the Friends as Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series presented by Fast Racing League, TDR Racing League, and Fuel Racing Leagues here live on JTN, twitch.tv/Johto2. Tonight, I am joined by Davey Hazard who was also with us last week at Richmond, Tommy Bordeaux, Davey's teammate in the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Under Armour Cup Series, and my teammate Ryan Pace. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Joe. Nice to be here in Talladega, Alabama. It's a beautiful day here, and we got a great racetrack. It'll be a fun race ahead of us. What do you think, Ryan?
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to join us here. First time here in the booth. I think it's going to be a great race. We got a good field, large crowd, lot of strategy going to be played out tonight. It's a big track with some big dreams coming up. Davey, what's your opinion on the race tonight?
I just want to say thanks for having me back for the second week in a row. Last week was a blast at Richmond. My thoughts singing tonight. We're gonna be saying it a little bit ironically, but that finish line being close to turn one, I think that's going to be a factor heading to the end of this race.
And as always here on JTN, we provide you with some of the best sim racing in the world. Tonight we have made a couple new deals with a couple new sponsors. Tommy, would you like to tell us about TWB?
Absolutely, Joe, I would. TWB is a large multinational corporation specializing in all kinds of industry sectors and markets. Recently, our TWB Technologies brand has introduced some new technology to help business leaders around the world conduct their businesses in these tough economic times. TWB would love to thank all of our supporters and customers for their support over the years, and definitely is looking forward to this long-standing partnership with Fast to continue here tonight.
As you see the cars go around the track, we were on board briefly with the number 12 of Sean Whitehill, one of numerous competitors who are making a start here at Talladega. We have a pretty large field tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do, Joe. It's going to be a 20-plus car field, I think, tonight. We got Austin Hakes sitting on the pole and Dan Lavelle on his outside pole. And Greg Lavelle sitting at third. There's some bad blood between those three.
You know, and you love to see it, the drama that the Mountain Dew Dash Series brings every week on Tuesday nights. Practice, of course, opened around 8 o'clock Eastern Time, with the race starting here shortly. I would like to take a moment as well to thank you three for joining us, as well as everyone who will be joining us on twitch.tv/Johto2. It's going to be a fun night, everybody. We're really proud to present such great racing action to you tonight and in the future, as we'll be going live every Tuesday night following along this terrific series.
Yeah, we should be in for quite a race tonight. 47 laps. These drivers are going to have to battle not only the other cars out on track, but also Lady Luck. It takes a lot of skill, but a whole lot of luck to win here at Talladega. If you can stay out of wrecks and avoid the big one, you might just have a shot at the end to take home the trophy.
From what I've heard, it's going to be a one-stop race based on fuel usage. Tires not too much of a factor. Because of that, there is a lot of luck into it. It's going to come down to where you are on the track. If we do by chance get green flag pit stops, which are always a possibility here, that could play a big role. If you mess up and you miss just 1 second, leave it on pit road, leave 1 second on the track, you could be out of the draft, and next thing you know, you're going to go a lap down.
Absolutely, Ryan. I've been watching that actually just now. As you were saying that, I've been watching, a few people, Dan Lavelle, Keith Batson, trying to get on the pit road, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some people are missing it completely. Your brakes do not work as well here at Dega than they do at other racetracks. So it's going to be really tough getting on the pit road, even possibly causing a yellow flag.
Now, would the general assumption tonight be, unlike last week at Richmond, that we will have green flag pit stops?
I'd say there's probably a good chance we might have one if we get a long run. These cars get strung out. Obviously, if everyone's in a single file line, there's less of an opportunity for a yellow to happen. But early on, if we get a quick caution, you know that phrase, cautions breed cautions. If these cars are racing hard side by side, look out. We could have a lot of yellows tonight. But hopefully things stay green. There's a lot of space here at Talladega. It's even wider than Daytona. So we should have plenty of room for moving around and a little bit of cushion in case anybody makes a mistake.
I will say all that moving around, it gives the drivers a false sense of security. You're going around here at speeds not that far off from 200 miles an hour. You get that sense of security, but one mistake can lead to the big one. Big one's always a possibility at super speedways. If the big one takes out enough drivers, that might end up creating a long green flag run just based on the number of people left. The number one goal whenever I would show up as a driver at Talladega is try to avoid the big one. That's really all you can do up until the final few laps.
I would also like to take a moment to apologize for our graphics team. We did have a lap counter set up, but unfortunately, some technical difficulties are going to keep us from bringing you that. However, we will be able to provide you with the 10 to go thanks to TWB. So, as the cars begin to grid for tonight's race, let's take you down to the starting lineup. On the front row, you have the 28 of Austin Hakes and the 325 of Dan Lavelle in that beautiful orange plain Camaro. Row 2, you have the 08 of Greg Lavelle and the 14 of Trey Coleman making his first start of the season here. Row 3 is the 38 of Perry Vaughn and the 3 of Bill Murnahan. Row 4 has the 47 of Andrew Miller and the 4 of Cody Luke. Row 5 has the 39 of Keith Batson and the 66 of Alex Gordon making his first start. So you hear the command to start engines. Row 6 has the 1 of Zach Krastowski and the 07 of James Moore. Row 7, Randall Coleman and the number 9, switch Camaro and the 99 of Cal Lavelle. Followed by recently crowned Dash Series champion, the second ever, Matt Watkins in the 15, and the 69 of Keith Patton. Next is Sean Whitehill and Jeff Dixon, and rounding out today's field is the 44 of Michael Marotta. We're going to have 47 laps here today. Drivers can make it on one pit stop to the end. Roughly come around 20-ish laps to go. I believe it's about 26 laps on a tank of gas. Do you think these guys will be taking tires today?
Well, see, that's an interesting question, Joe. See, at a track like Richmond, like we were last week, tires did come out to be a factor. You saw Randall Coleman trying to play some strategy games that didn't really work out in the end. This week is a little bit different. You're going to see drivers take 2, possibly even no tires, just to gain valuable track position, which, of course, here at Talladega can change rapidly. But you know what, guys? I think it's always great to be at the front, get yourself away from the trouble behind you.
I would say the only way that I'm taking tires if I'm in these drivers' seats is if I were to lock them up getting onto pit road. You don't have a lot of tire wear at Talladega. It's a lot more forgiving than even Daytona. So there's not too much reason on tires. Every split second on pit road is very, very valuable, and it's the difference between making that lead pack and not, should we get green flag stops.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you guys. If anything, I'm taking right side tires just to take right side tires because they probably won't mess up your pit stop in the long run. But in general, you're better off not taking any tires at all, just removing that risk and just saving as much time as possible.
As the pace car pulls off down the pit lane, these cars will take an extra long time because, again, the start-finish line is not in the tri-oval. As Austin Hakes will take him down in his number 28 Toyota Camry. He waits, he waits, he waits. And green flag is in the air. We are underway here at Talladega. See, the 28 pulls out to an early lead, followed by the 08. Again, a little bit of bad blood there. Do you think that's going to play an early role in both of these drivers' decisions?
Well, hopefully not too early. I mean, we got a long race ahead of us. They got to, right now, just stay smart, level-headed in the line, and kind of work together for the time being. You can see that bottom line really forming up well. That outside line struggling.
Yeah, Talladega is not the place to settle any scores or anything like that. I did see before the start of the race that we had a couple guys in the outside line that would be dropping back, so that might have their momentum.
Car cars all over the place here.
Yeah, that's a lot of shuffling to happen this early on with such a tight group. Looks like things have kind of settled down a little bit, but that could have been a lot worse than it was.
We're 3 wide just for, looks like 7th position.
They need to get in line. That lead pack's starting to get a little bit of a gap.
Oh, we got one around. We
And
got
we
a
have contact. We have big
big crash. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's just gonna happen though. You have people on different agendas trying to go to the back, to the front. Some people want to stay where they are. Some people want to move to the. It was causing a bit of a gaggle there, and that's just what happens at these super speedways sometimes on the first laps.
Gaggle. I'm gonna have to look that word up in the dictionary because it does sound like that's what that word is.
I can tell you exactly what a gaggle is, and when you look at the replay, it'll be exactly what you're looking at.
As you see, everyone looks like we have everyone at least pulling away from that incident. Hopefully, no one has too much damage in this league. The damage is moderate. We'll quickly try to get to a replay.
Boy, you could see that lap before coming out of turn 4, there was a lot of shuffling around. Things got a little unsettled. That just kind of carried through on the front stretch, and yeah, we had a big one in turn 1 already.
Oh, we've got to spin under caution. Oh, no.
Oh, we got multiple cars in caution. Here's a replay of the wreck. Looks like we had 2 simultaneous spins going down in turn 1, Joe.
It's a mess. I had cars on the apron, just too much shuffling this early on in the race. I mean, I can't even.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you wanted if you're one of those cars that got involved. There's so much time left. If you're there at the end, you have a chance and you get involved in something early. It's not the kind of day these guys wanted to have, I'll tell you that.
We're going to go on board with Alex Gordon here. You see, he's going to see both of these spins right in front of him and just make his way on through. The Red Sea really parted there for him.
Yeah, it looked like we had one self-spin at the same time we had contact up there. It's like the 39 car involved a little bit. It's kind of an interesting wreck. It happened at the same time. The whole field got blocked, and a lot of cars got involved.
And now a lot of cars coming down pit road.
Now we do have a secondary incident to review. We had cars tumbling under that caution flag. Coming back up to the pace car.
Flip a couple times. There are a couple cars that it may still be going, but they're not going to be competing for the win.
Randall Coleman, Dan Lavelle, all took big hits. I believe that's Dan Lavelle on the 325. Yes, it is. He took a big hit. Yeah, there's going to be a few cars in that secondary incident that are not going to be competitive, like Ryan said.
Watching, it just looks like the 325 just didn't get any word to slow down. The 4 is going to come slamming into the 38, who's going for a tumble. The 66, we just praised him for not being involved in that wreck. He's also involved. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of unhappy crews after that.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation for Alex Gordon in the 66. You get through that first wreck and you think you're clear, and now here you go getting involved in a second one under yellow. That's got to be really unfortunate for that team. Hopefully their car isn't too badly damaged and they can still be competitive, but like you guys said before, aero is a lot here at these tracks, more than you would think. You get a little bit of damage up front of the nose, and it can cost a lot of time out on the racetrack.
As we went on board with the 325, it looks like he just didn't get the word that they were slowing down that quickly, and just obviously a very unfortunate circumstance. I'm speechless. I'm just speechless. Last week we had a race where we had 7 cautions, and we already got 2 massive wrecks, not even, 5 laps into the race?
And I would argue we haven't even had the big one yet, the main wreck there. Everybody managed to get through relatively unscathed. A couple guys getting banged up there under caution. But there's still plenty of time left, a lot of racing left, and there's still a lot of cars. You're not out of the clear yet, even if you made it through it so far.
Yeah, we're really yet to see how much damage some of those cars really have, like with the moderate damage. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky and the damage you get isn't as significant as the contact you see would make it seem. So we still have a whole lot of race left. Like you said, we have a whole lot of cars left that might still be just as competitive as they were before.
wouldn't be surprised if we get into this, we start getting a couple laps into this run and these guys get single file really quick, because it looked like they were taking their time there to try to get everything sorted out. Everyone was trying to really push for positions early on, and it cost a lot of these guys.
Yeah, it did, Joe. And I think you look at how long this race is. I mean, 47 laps at, say, Richmond, like we were last week, isn't that long of a time. But here at this 2.66 mile super speedway that is Talladega, that's a long time, even at 200 miles an hour. So factor in, there's a long race to go. You know you're going to have plenty of opportunity to pass when it comes to the end of the race. But first of all, you got to make it if you'd have a chance.
And some of these guys, their chance might have already expired. And that's just really unfortunate for the crews that put so much work into these race cars, the sponsors, and just everyone involved.
Yeah, I know my last time here at Talladega Superspeedway in the Dash Series was involved in an early wreck as well, and it's never fun for the driver or the crew. I mean, you think about the driver, okay, yeah, they're out of the race, but think about the crew that has to go home and repair that car. It's a long night in the shop for everybody involved. Nobody wants to see that happen early.
Yeah, especially, you know, no one wants to get taken out in a lap 1 or 2 incident at super speedway. No one especially wants to get taken out at any racetrack from a wreck under caution. So there's probably going to be a lot of angry drivers and crews right now this race.
I'll tell you one driver though who I think's got to be pretty happy with how this has all turned out. I don't know if you were able to see it well on the opening wreck replay, but Alex Gordon who was here in the booth last week, got through it, and he managed to avoid that wreck under yellow. He's up in second.
Sorry, Ryan. I just caught out the corner of my eye, and the cameras caught it. But yeah, 66 car, you gotta really commend him for getting through that. He was right there. Looks like
that
he'll be
car around. That was. Sorry, go ahead.
He looks like he'll be in a pretty good position here on the restart.
Yeah, that car that went around, that was Zach Krastowski, was able to keep it off the inside wall. It was just went up off the apron, grabbed the banking, and just looped it coming off of 2. No damage for that in that incident.
These cars are so designed for speed that if you do just very slightly hit the apron, I'm hearing a lot of drivers complain about that in practice, there's a good chance you're going to go for a same thing with the brakes. You don't use brakes at Talladega other than pretty much getting on pit road or avoiding a wreck. So since you use them so rarely, they're not really a focus. That's probably what happened earlier. One car gets on the brakes, he goes for a bit of a spin. It's hard to control.
As the lights are out on the pace car, we will be going back green flag racing here this next time by. Quickly, before we get back to green, we did not get a chance to go over our picks for the race, but after that caution, I'm sure some people had their picks changed. Who do you guys got for the rest of this event?
Yeah, Joe, it's a little bit shaken up here, but I'm going to go with the driver who today has a throwback to the 1980s. That's right, the last time the Wood brothers won a race at Talladega, it was in the year 1980. And who's behind that car today? That's the number 44 of Michael Murata doing a nice throwback. Wood brothers, I think he puts it in victory lane once again.
I'll go next. My pick here. It got a little shaken up. I wasn't sure which Lavelle brother to pick. I figured they'd work well in the race. Unfortunately, one of them's a little banged up after that wreck, so I'm going to go with the guy who's starting first on this restart, Greg Lavelle. I think he'll have a good race here and has a good shot to win. Who do you have?
I'm going to go for someone that I think is going to under the radar with you guys. I race them a lot across the different leagues, and he's an accomplished super speedway racer. I always enjoy having him on my rear bumper and in front of me. That's going to be Paul Lovell. I think he is going to be able to take down the win tonight.
And I'm going to make a little partisan pick here. You see him blinking out there a little bit on the screen, but I'm going to pick my driver, Sean Whitehill, in the number 12 Menards Ford Mustang. As the cars come into the tri-oval, the pace car will pull off here. Greg Lavelle will lead them to the line with Alex Gordon on his outside. 2 Chevy Camaros on the front row, followed by a Camaro and a Camry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, guys. We got Greg Lavelle and Alex Gordon on the front row, a brand new front row from the last restart. We'll see how this plays out.
And mash the gas. We are back underway. Green flag racing here at Talladega. We're going to see, hopefully, these guys calm down a little bit here after that initial start. You see everyone's giving each other a little more room. That outside line really isn't hugging the inside line. 08 looks like he's getting a little too far ahead of the 47. He'll probably try to pull up on the outside line as as we're having technical difficulties for a second there.
Greg got to a great start, but that outside line is locked up. I know a lot of those guys feel comfortable working with each other, and they may be going around the 08 here.
And to the lead
Yeah, you take a look at that outside line. You have 5 cars up there, led by Alex Gordon, Austin Hagues, Sean Whitehill, Matt Watkins, and Michael Murata. Those 5 are very fast cars. They've had a lot of success this year. Of course, except for Alex Gordon, who's making his inaugural start of the season. But overall, those guys are very talented behind the wheel, and they look really sharp up there.
And to lead lap 7, it's going to be the 66 of Alex Gordon. Now, Gordo obviously was up here in the booth with us last week, and we had got him into this 66 car tonight. Hopefully, he can show JTN a very strong running here.
We're kind of already starting to see the cars that were damaged in those past accidents. You know, the 39, the 14, the 9, 38, 325, all of them just really lagging back. I don't think that's a strategy call. I think that's all a result of the damage they got in those caution accidents.
And I'm kind of surprised right now. The outside line is really chugging away here. I mean,
yeah, Joe, it looks like not only do they have numbers, but they're holding it really close together and in line with each other. Nobody's darting in and out of the place. They're doing a really good job holding things stable, and that's really allowing them to break away from that group. It's really impressive.
I mean,
in the past, Talladega has really been a middle line track. That's the best line. You can run anywhere here, of course, but middle line is always seemed to be the best. They're looking to be a little high, but they're right below that second white line towards the top. That is traditionally the ideal way to get around this Talladega.
You can see from the camera on top of the front stretch grandstand, you just see all the momentum in that outside line. They kind of just push each other. They continue to edge away from the 08, leading the inside line.
And you know, Tommy, you spoke on the experience of the top 5 on that outside line. Not only the experience, but for those drivers, Alex Gordon, Austin Hagues, Sean Whitehill, and Michael Murata, all pretty good friends. They all kind of trust each other a lot. Matt Watkins is fast enough to be trusted in general. And I think that's another factor, is that they just know how to work with each other, and that's really, really helping them right now.
Yeah, and you talk about friends, but boy, at the end of this thing, you're going to want one. Especially if we get down here to a couple 2-car tangos, let me tell you, you're going to want a dance partner to go to the finish line with.
Friends are all good for the first 46 laps. Once we get to lap 47, you're all my enemies. That's what I would think.
Now, these guys here, they're do you think they're kind of feeling each other out now that they've disposed of that inside line, right? Do you think they're kind of seeing what everyone has after that early incident, or do you think they're just sitting here, just, you know, playing music in their head, just riding?
Personally, right now, I'm riding. I'm not sizing anyone up. I'm just running where I am. You know, it's a fixed setup race. We all got about the same thing going on. I'm pretty comfortable with all these guys in the field right now. If I were any of these guys, I'm not sizing anyone up. I'm just riding and waiting for these laps to down.
There are a couple guys that can't rest too easy. I noticed they're still hanging on at the back of the pack, the 9, the 14, all still here in this group. They're still hanging on. We've had a few guys drop off, but it's not as many as we thought maybe at the beginning. Even with its single file, they'll be working hard to try to hang on at least until pit stops.
You see 3 wide in the back of the pack as we continue to watch the 66 of Alex Gordon holding the lead and maintaining a strangle on this race right now. We're 10 laps in, about to complete lap 11. Now, another interesting fact about Talladega is obviously the location of the start-finish line. And we will talk about this numerous times tonight. Do you guys feel that that provides an advantage or a disadvantage to the car in first place?
Well, that's an interesting
we have
question, Joe.
contact.
Oh, and it looks like we got a
big
yellow.
Oh,
wreck.
big crash. Oh, the
It's
nine.
no.
Coleman
9
over
on
on
his
his
side.
side. 08 is barrel rolling down the back stretch.
Who picked 08?
That would be yours truly. You might have
Massive.
a lot of picks involved there.
The 08 involved. The 99. Let's try to get a quick replay of that.
Wow, guys, and what were we just saying? They should just ride this out and calm down and go. We had another yellow just like that.
I'll be interested to see on the replay here who caused it, what happened. There's been an issue with what they call bumper grab, where two cars just ever so slightly touch each other, and the one behind or the one up front just loses control.
Now we'll go on board with the 08, who looked like he was the root cause of this, and he runs over the 99, spins him out, and just hooks it back right, collects the one, and gets hit, and just on his roof. The camera goes out on his roof again. Just
Yeah, you know,
massive.
guys, I really cannot get behind pushing someone that deep in line that early. I don't think it's a smart idea. I don't want to pin blame on anybody, but I just can't get behind the idea of pushing someone that early and that aggressively, you know, that far in the pack.
As we'll see another from our helicopter view, you see he was pushing, and yeah, I don't. If that's me, I'm not pushing that hard right now. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, and he paid the price for it too. He took a big shot on the right side of his car from Bill Murnahan in the 3. That sent him tumbling, so I hope he's okay, but I hate to see a wreck at that high of speed here at Talladega, of course. It's a lot different than, say, Richmond. I mean, when you have accidents here, they hurt.
Next, we'll go on board with the number 9 of Randall Coleman. Randall has obviously not had a great race up until this point. See the incident right in front of him.
He almost made it through there.
He gets hooked by his teammate who got hooked by the 08 and lucky to not go up and over on his roof.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Joe. I mean, that's a hook that Mike Tyson would be proud of. It's unfortunate that it happened so early on too. There's time left. It's unfortunate to have your teammates get involved in a wreck like that.
We'll take one more look at this wreck. It's on. 08 gets to the 99, and it's just everything happens, and I'm at a loss for words, guys. I don't know what's going on. I do not understand what is going on. I mean, as drivers, are you getting on your spotter, on your crew chief to go talk to some of these guys and tell them to settle down? What's your mindset right now?
I mean, if I'm a driver of a car, you know, if I'm with a car that doesn't have damage right now, I'm just saying you need to get up front and out of the mess, because it seems like there's not a lot of patience going on mid-pack right now, and there should have been. There's no reason to be really that aggressive that early, and you know, in my opinion, you need to be up front to start avoiding that at this point.
I completely agree. I'm usually the guy that's sitting at the back, right? I mean, I think usually the best place, but right now we saw, I think, the 14 of Trey Coleman. He was involved in that, and he looked like he was kind of holding on to that strategy. I don't know what damage he had from the first incident, but of staying at the back, and then he got involved. You see the 07 pitting here. Just a lot of craziness early on in this race that I did not expect to see.
Yeah, Joe, you bring up an interesting point there about different philosophies and approaches to superspeedway racing. We've seen in the NASCAR Cup Series on Sundays, Joe Gibbs Racing going to the back intentionally to avoid and move themselves out of any situations that may involve them in a wreck. But here, you know, with a smaller field, maybe a more compact group here, and an emphasis on keeping that main draft, it looks like a lot of guys that may have tried that strategy of getting involved. I would think being out front really is going to be where you want to be right now, given this current situation and how that race has been. I don't know. What would you say to that, Ryan?
I'd say, yeah, you want to be up front and avoid everything. Speaking of being up front, though, I just want to. We did have a bit of a swap in the results coming out of pit road. Even though it looks like most of the drivers up front just took fuel, Matt Watkins now leading the race. He won the race off. Alex Gordon's team had a bit of a slow stop. He took fuel as well, but fell back to third. I am interested as well as seeing how this tire strategy works out for the rest of the race. We did see a few drivers come and get tires. You'll definitely need it if you were just involved in that wreck as well.
As we watch Matt Watkins currently leading the field. Matt is the 2020 Segment A champion of the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series presented by the Fast Racing League, TVR Racing League, and Fuel Racing League. I'd like
And
to
well
take...
deserved, I'd like to say.
Oh, 3 wins on the season, if I do recall. Yeah, 3 wins on the season. 7 top 10 or top 5s and 8 top 10s. Very good run, obviously, for him. I'd like to welcome him to the club as a champion, of course, to the series. Now, we have a couple champions in the booth as well. Obviously, Ryan and Davey, you guys have won Cup Series championships. What does it mean to be a champion at Fast?
At Fast, for me, it's one of my biggest achievements in sim racing so far. I mean, Wednesday nights are some of the toughest races you'll endure. There's plenty of fast drivers. You know, Tommy, for example, he came close to winning the championship and had a heartbreaker. I still feel for him for that one. Tommy's always quick. Brandon's quick. Randall's quick. Will's quick. There's just, I could list probably half the field as being a threat to win on any given week. You know, and that just makes it all so much more important when you're just racing with guys that fast all the time. Ryan, obviously, too, a previous champion. It is pretty special.
As the lights are out on the pace car. Yeah, Ryan, would you like to touch on being a champion? I know it was a while back for you, but what does that
It's pretty
mean?
special. Luckily that's something they can't take away. I can always say I was a champion. It's even harder now, harder than ever with some of these fields. A lot of drivers are getting more experience. We're still seeing new drivers enter the sport. A lot of times it may take a while, but their levels of success. Some of these guys are still relatively new, given the length of how long sim racing's been around, and they're still up here competing. We've got some guys that have been here for a long time. I know some of these guys have come from different leagues of racing to come here, and even though we may not know how well they've done, they've really, really been great. I'm specifically thinking here like Matt Watkins. I know he's won championships in other leagues I've watched, and to have him here is a big honor. He's joined the Cup racing schedule this year, and it's been fun to race against him there. And it's really special though being a champion, and something that at least can't ever take away.
It's an honor, as you hear from 2 former Cup Series champions, to run at the Fast Racing League. Pace car will be pulling off shortly. We will be going back green flag racing here. The 15 will lead them down on that outside line. It's an interesting pick, but one that I think a lot of us saw coming after that last green flag run. Pace car pulls down pit road. We will be coming back to green flag racing here, coming to lap 17. They hold steady, they wait, they know the flag is coming, and green flag is back. We are underway here again at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Keep an eye out, see if it was planned. We may see the 66, and there he goes. He's tucking in behind the 15. That may have been planned. That's why I may have taken the outside line so they could hook up here on the restart and work together.
And those are probably 2 of the cleanest cars still out there right now after that last incident. They were obviously well ahead of that. Part of that top 5 that was kind of working really well together to get that outside lane going.
Yeah, speaking of clean cars, take a look back in the midfield here. I'm taking a look at Austin Hakes being pushed by Michael Morata, and those 2 guys are charging to the front. Looks like they're holding the high line really well together. They're working out well. They're friends, obviously, and even though they're from different manufacturers, they're doing a good job working together, trying to get their way back up to the front of the field where they need to be.
They better hurry, because it looks like those top 5 are starting to pull a little bit on this large pack of racing vehicles. There's still a lot of shuffling. It looks like the 28 dives to the bottom on the 47 of Andrew Miller, and still on the bottom. Looks
Really
like
good move.
they're moving now. You lose the transponders.
I love moves I love when cars dive to the bottom in the corner and get the momentum, and they keep the momentum and they keep it up, and now they have The numbers on the bottom, we'll see if they can get forward, see if they can grab the lead. They will pull ahead.
Yeah, and take a look. Alex Gordon made that jump down to the bottom side when he saw them coming with momentum. His teammate working together action up there. And now those three are in the lead and on the top line.
It looks like that was a plan to get hooked back up with the 66 and get those three to the top three positions on the board.
Yeah, that was executed beautifully. I love moves like that, and they did it to perfection.
And that's obviously a different piece of racing that Talladega Superspeedway presents. You can kind of, you have to rely on guys, but you're also you're afforded the opportunity to work with people that you don't normally work with. You know, you see there a little bit of shimmy and shaking down that back straightaway, but you know, you don't normally see the 60s, a Chevy, a Toyota, and a Ford working together so well. You know, at a Michigan or a Atlanta or even at a short track. What do manufacturer ties really mean at Talladega Superspeedway in the fast racing league?
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. Sorry, Dave, but I just want to point out that it all comes back to the name of the league. I mean, the Franz Sim Racers Tour. I think friendship is the strongest bond you can find, and it can break any manufacturer down instantly. That's what you're seeing up front.
And I think you're right to an extent, but there are some teams, there are some drivers who will stick with their group of their selected group of people who are running the same manufacturer. Yeah, you know, it's not fast, but at USRL, you know, Darren Ingram, Trey Coleman, you know, their team, they'll get up front and they'll just block the bottom, and that's fine. That's a strategy. I don't think it's going to matter today, but it can matter in other races.
Continue to hear these cars purr. We're 20 laps in out of the 47 here at Talladega.
Now we're 20 laps in, but one car that's not. We've got one car joining the race, the 32 of Bobby Farrell. He's just coming off pit road now. He may a roll. I don't think he's in too late to compete, but he is here on track. And we also had a couple of drivers, unfortunately, have had to drop out. I see Cody Luke in the 4, Randall Coleman in the 9. The 08 of Greg Lavelle, they've all retired, and their hopes tonight are unfortunately over.
Also, the 325 of Dan Lavelle. Both of Lavelle is out of this race now.
Well, there is still a third Lavelle who is in 5th right now, not related, but that's Cal Lavelle in the 99. Remember, involved in that early wreck in turn 1.
Oh, we got a car around, guys. 36 around hard. Caution flag is out. He hits that inside wall.
The 07 there, boy, those roof flaps really helped out. He almost went over, but looks like he got sucked on back to the ground.
They'll get to call the tow truck back to pit lane. You see the 36 of Jeff Dixon. Now, with a caution this late, are we within the fuel window to pit here and not have to make a green flag pit stop?
It's going to be close, but I would think at this point, yes. No matter what, you need to be coming down and get a full tank of fuel. We do go green the rest of the way. There might be a little question. But no doubt about it, everybody will be coming down and topping off here in this caution.
As we see the replay, the 07 just goes way too far up and clips the 36, turns him around, and hard lick for the Jeff Dixon. That was a massive hit for that Kroger Chevy Camaro. You just hate to see it. You just hate to see it.
Yeah, Joe, that's a big impact. You know, that reminds me a lot of when Kyle Busch had his wreck in the Xfinity Series a couple of years back, only, of course, or this time was turned around. But, yeah, you know, thankful that all these crews have worked on these cars. NASCAR themselves and the Fast Racing League also collaborated on building a strong fuel cell to make sure that doesn't burst, and it looks like it did its job there. Everything looks to be okay as far as Jeff Dixon's physical health is concerned, and that's always a good sign. That's a nasty hit.
Yeah, it looks like he drove away from that incident, didn't he?
Yeah, that's just a testament to the safer barrier, too, on the inside. I mean, imagine if that was concrete he was going into. That's a big deal here at Talladega with these high speeds.
So it looks like the 28 is having transponder issues. We'll hopefully be able to get back on the racing surface.
It looks like from that wreck, the 07's now ended his night. The 36 is still going. We'll see how bad the damage is here. they might have spent a little extra time on pit road fixing it up, but it is still going. Real testament to the car that they're racing here.
Yeah, that was a very, very big hit. I don't know how we'll be able to keep up speed with that kind of impact.
As leaders come down pit road, the 66 followed by the 44 and the 15.
Remember, guys, that top group right there of the 44 and the 66, they had to come from a little bit deeper in the pack. They got themselves out to the front. I think that played a big factor in them being able to avoid a lot of that cautions. I mean, they could have been involved in that wreck. It happened midfield where they were. That's good teamwork to get up to the front. Out of trouble.
See cars making quick pit stops. The 14 stops and goes, just got a splash of fuel. Looks like he'll come off pit road first, followed by the 15, 66, and 99. 38 is going to come off to round out your top 5. Like 6th will be the 44, followed by a dead heat, but it's going to be the 1, the 12, and the 3. Not a good time on pit road for previous race leader Alex Gordon in the 66. Losing 2 positions. But a great time on pit road for a car that looks very similar in the 14 of Trey Coleman.
It looks like the difference there. Trey Coleman taking just fuel. I did see that the 66 Alex Gordon did take some tires there. Just wanted a little bit of fresh tires for this last stop since they're already filling it up with some fuel. That was the difference. We'll see if it plays an impact here on the restart.
Again,
we talked earlier. Sorry, Joe. We talked earlier about the importance or lack thereof of tires here at Talladega, but possibly Alex Gordon may have locked him up coming into pit road or sliding into his stall. Had to put some on or call an audible. And you also might wonder from that wreck, he might have caught some debris on there, so possibly could have been a survival call for the 66 car.
And wouldn't new tires provide you with a little more opportunity to make some riskier moves with the car because you have a little more grip?
It might, and you saw the 07 there get a little bit high in the tri-oval, and that could have been his car getting a little tight. It might be a forward-thinking move for Alex Gordon to take that, so later on in the race, he might have just a little bit more gusto than the other guys.
Great point, Tommy, and I completely agree with that move, too.
I think at this...
Go ahead, Joe, I'm sorry.
Well, at this point, you gotta... What, you're the leader, you lost 2 spots. I mean, 2 spots for 4 fresh tires, that seems like a pretty good deal here. When you've shown the ability to move right to the front, it looks like he'll line up with his with the 44 directly behind him, so that will obviously be a good thing here on the restart because those two have worked so well together. I guess they might be without that connecting piece of the 28 of Austin Hakes. Do we have a report on the 28?
28 has had issues. He's going behind the wall. I don't know if they're going to get back out on track. He's already a lap down, so they can get back out there. I didn't see an issue. It wasn't a wreck or anything, but unfortunately, he's not on the track at the moment.
And what does that do to a driver's psyche? You know, you're running so well, and something completely out of your control goes wrong.
I'd say it's frustration, first of all. I mean, it looks like it was a mechanical issue, internal to the car. And, he didn't do anything wrong, certainly. I mean, he was out there up front, working together really well with his teammates and definitely had a legitimate shot at winning this thing. So it's frustrating as a driver when you're behind the wheel. Everything you can, and then your car quits on you is unfortunate. And I hope that the damage isn't too bad. But just frustrating from a driver's perspective, absolutely.
And I've been kind of trying to pay attention to the cars here, so sorry for not being as vocal about that last point. But I've noticed that the 47 is the only car on the racetrack clutching right now. Not 100% sure on the fuel window. I'm not 100% sure on, exactly how close it is. But the 47 seems to be the only car on track that's clutching to save fuel right now during this caution flag.
Now, he did not pit. Might have something to do with it. Maybe
Right.
they were good on fuel and clutching a little bit to try to stretch it here, and maybe he didn't need to pit with that clutching. But yeah, he is the only one that did not pit. Looks like he's going to skip pit road.
Now, Ryan, you're known as the master fuel saver around these parts, around this league. can you actually save a decent amount of fuel to make it to the end of this race?
At a track like Talladega or Daytona, it's hard. You're on the gas all the time. You don't let off under green. You don't brake, barring a wreck or anything like that. So it's hard to save gas. The key, if you were to, is to hang out in the draft. You want to be in the draft. You can't be leading. You can't save fuel up there, and know when to clutch, when to let off. But even doing everything right, you can maybe get a lap. 2 laps is probably too much at a track like this. So the only reason you really need to ever clutch or save fuel is if you were right there on that window. Any more than 2 laps, and there's no hope. You might as well just get ready to pit.
As the lights are off on the pace car, we will be going back green flag racing here after completing this lap, the 26th of the event. We're going to be coming up on 20 laps to go here. Now, we've seen wrecks throughout the race, but it's got to be go time now if you're towards the back of the field.
Honestly, I'm not so sure. We still have a little bit less than half of the race to go. I'm not sure if we're done seeing wrecks. We might be. We might finally see some. We might finally see some calm racing, up to this finish. But there's still a lot of racing to go. I don't think it's go time just yet. I think we still probably have another 10-ish laps before we start thinking about the moves we need to make to get up to the front.
Yeah, I don't buy that coming from a driver. I'm gonna take it. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be taking it easy. The pace car will be pulling off here. You can't take it easy at this point. You just can't. We've seen wrecks happen so frequently, and caution flags are just taking laps away from the race, and craziness here. The 47's got a decent little lead on the outside lane. It looks like maybe some more games going on to try to get that 14 up into the outside. As the pace car obviously is off, we come through the tri-oval. Be getting the green flag here. And green flag is out. We're back underway racing at Talladega with 21 laps remaining.
This is going to be interesting to see. The 44 and the 47. Or sorry, that's the 14 and the 47. Yeah, up in front of the field quite a bit. Yeah, looks like that 14 was able to slide in front of the 47 there. Now the 15 moves up behind the 47. That top line getting together pretty early. I wonder if they're going to try and make a move to pull away from the pack.
Yeah, the 66 did not get a good restart there. He's dropping back pretty quick. Looks like they're kind of stalled out there for around 5th position. Those top 3 try to break away.
We've seen them make a move from that high line to get up to the front after dipping low to make a move. I think those 3, Alex Gordon, Sean Whitehill, and Michael Murata, have a good chance of getting up front, but right now, at a low line down there with Bill Nernahan and Zach Rostowski there in the 1, that's preventing them from moving anywhere.
And you got to ask the question too. This is Gordo's first race back in a decent amount of time. This is his first fast race in a while. Is he rusty? As we see that he makes the move now. Obviously, I was wrong. He's going to make the move to the bottom now. We'll see if it is out. Sean not able to follow them. They're going to get a big run, a lot of momentum.
Well, as he hit the apron there for a second, it looked like.
That's going to rob a little momentum.
I mean, the 14 just cut him off there. Risky move by Trey Coleman.
John Whitehill.
Yeah, I was going to say that allowed Sean Whitehill up there on the low side to catch up with those guys. Now they got the numbers.
It looks like.
And you got to take a little risk if you're leading.
Trey Coleman channeling his inner Dale Earnhardt Jr. here at Talladega.
Obviously his favorite driver. Trey was, go ahead.
I'm just going to say Trey Coleman's had a lot of success here at Super Speedways. I know he's always been competitive. Talladega, won in other leagues. The Fast Under Armour Cup Series, he won at Daytona earlier this year. The only driver not named Brandon Hawkin to win a Cup race so far. Daytona and Talladega is so similar. He has the experience and is a great leader if he's got a group working behind him as well.
Well, I was going to touch on that same point exactly. I was talking with him down in the garage area, and he goes, Joe, listen here. My average... Oh, the 66 on the apron.
66 down the apron.
Looks like we got a cart.
Oh,
come on, Bordeaux. Say
around. We've got a big wreck in turn number 4.
And of course, our TV transponders fell out for a second there. We missed a lot of that incident, but hard licks for a lot of guys. It looked like everyone was hitting the apron there.
And Davey, what did you say? It's been a while since Alex Gordon has raced in a fast racing event. Maybe a little bit of rust down on the apron and came back up. Looks like Sean Whitehill in the 12 got loose in the middle of the field, and that's something at Talladega you never want to do.
Yeah, I mean, when you play other games or you race other leagues or other sims, you pick up traits from that sim, and something must have happened to Alex there to kind of get him out of shape, and he just wasn't expecting it, and that could just be a product of the rust.
We'll go on board with the 66. It looks like he got a little loose going into the corner. Maybe those new tires. Gets on the apron, continues to lose it. The 12, something happened. Again, we lost our feed there for a second, but I don't think he got too much damage out of that incident.
Yeah, he should be okay, Joe, and you know how strong he's been all day long. As long as there's no damage to that race car, he still has a shot at this. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I'll tell you what, that's a scary incident for those drivers that were involved.
Yeah, and there's actually a secondary incident behind that we missed. The 36, the 32, and the 3 all kind of got out of shape, a little loose. Some, a few of them spun. There's a lot going on the racetrack this time around.
As we'll look at that secondary incident between the 36 and the 3 next. Looks like the 36, he just got into the back of the 3 and spun him out.
Yeah, it looked like it may have been related to that first wreck. I don't know if the 3 let off or anything. It's hard to say. It was around the same time the 66 was collecting himself on the bottom. Unfortunately, that looks like the night's over for the 6 of Jeff Dixon. He's no longer on track. He's was the unfortunate victim of the last wreck. He's been at the wrong place at the wrong time for a bunch of these wrecks. Just a lot of bad luck tonight.
As we watch the field pacing here, just completing lap 30. All right, you told me it wasn't go time last time. Is it go time now?
At this point, I don't think so. I think we have more wrecks. I thought maybe we were done after that last one. It's clear we're not. I mean, there's still some calamity left to be had. I think maybe we have 1 or 2 more yellows before we really start thinking about going. And that's a tough call. That's a risk that you're gonna have to take. I'm probably wrong. You never know with Vega. That's just the nature of it. But at some point you got to make a call, and I think the call right now is just take it easy one more time. See what happens. If you take it easy now, there's still enough time under green flag conditions to make up the time you may lose by taking it easy. I think that's the move still.
Now,
Yeah, to add to your point about closing in on the end of the race and when to go, some milestone that we have to look at depending on the lap. Right now it's lap 31 of 47. You remember with 10 laps to go and less, any yellow that comes out is going to make these cars race back to the line. Of course, the line not in the trioval here, it's towards turn 1, but these drivers are going to have to race back to the checkered line if we have a caution coming up here in a few laps. So that's going to add a little bit of flair into this too, because late yellow just a few laps out from the end could be the end of the race prematurely.
and I was going to say, does anyone want to change their picks right now after these last couple incidents? I know Ryan's probably going to want to change his, but Tommy, I'm assuming you're going to stick with yours.
Yeah, I'm good with mine. You look at Michael Murat up there. He's going to restart in the front row. I told you he was strong. He's strong here at the end. He's looking to finish this thing out. He's just got to get around one more car.
Like you said, I'll change my pick here. Unfortunately, my pick's out of the race. I'm going to switch over to Trey Coleman since he is leading the race. I know that's an easy pick just to pick the guy that's the leader, but he's got a lot of experience leading these super speed races, and since he's already starting up front, he's in a great position to avoid trouble. We may not be done wrecking, and I feel safest with picking the guy who's already up front. Davey, what about you?
I'm gonna be sticking with Cal. I know he had that incident earlier that he may have a little bit of damage, but he's been running top 5, top 3 most of the night still. I'm gonna be sticking with Cal Lovell for the end of this race.
And you know what? To make it 3-1 Ford to Chevy, I'm going to stick with my guy Sean Whitehill in that number 12. I know he looked like he got a little squirrely there on that last caution. We kind of missed it with our TV cameras, but I'm going to stay with him. I'm going to put my faith in that number 12 Team Towianski crew.
And I hate to cut off anyone who might be trying to talk, but just something to keep an eye on. The number 28 car is on track. I don't know what the situation is going to be with know how many laps he's going to be down or where he's going to be in comparison to the rest of the field, but he is back on track, and we know he's fast. If he's able to get back on the lead lap, that's another contender that all these guys are going to have to fight with for sure.
Well, speaking of fast cars being laps down at Talladega, remember when Bill Elliott here in the 9 car many years ago, he was a lap down before he ended up taking the checkered flag. That could happen here to Austin Hake. Some mechanical issues. Looks like they weren't too bad. He might have a shot here after all.
So the laps continue to wind down. We pace here at the Talladega Superspeedway. I want to take the moment to thank everyone watching on twitch.tv/Johto2, this presentation of the Fast Racing League on JTN. I'd also like to thank everyone who will be watching our race replay at youtube.com/racecarboy93, which redirects you to YouTube channel Joe Towianski. That's me, Joe Towianski. I'd also like to thank you three for joining me up here in the booth tonight. I know Davey, I can't thank you enough for coming on last week, and again, joining us tonight, and Ryan and Tommy, thanks for showing up, and hopefully we get a great finish here.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast. I can't thank you enough for inviting me back again. I absolutely love this. We've had 2 pretty crazy races to call, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, we've had a terrific race so far with a lot of wild accidents, and we should be in for one heck of a finish as we have the pace car lights off right now. And Ryan, I got to say, it's been an awfully fun to be here with you guys as well, Ryan. Kind of a different perspective on the whole race, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's my first time in the booth. Your first time as well. I was really itching to get up here once I had seen the exciting race at Richmond. I was hoping we'd get another exciting one tonight. So far, it's been great to watch. We've had some big wrecks. I know it's not fun to be in them, but they're sure exciting to watch. We've had some crazy racing for the leads, a lot of strategy, some drivers going top to bottom, bottom to top. This race has had everything so far, and I'm really excited that when we go green here, we're going to have 14 more laps to settle it all.
Obviously, the pace car lights are off. We are going to be going back green flag racing here. Alright, we talked about if it's time to go or not. We don't think it's time to go yet. Do you think we're going to see a choreographed restart here?
Personally, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be a restart that plays out however it plays out. I mean, they might be friendly, but I don't think this is something that they're planning to do. As far as anything, letting someone else in. If it happens, I think they'll just let it happen because there's no point in fighting it right now.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here if these guys can kind of stay close together without wrecking. We've seen problems with that tonight, and hopefully they can run this one green to the end. So we enter the front stretch. The cars will be going into the tri-oval. The 14 of Trey Coleman will lead them down with Michael Murata on the inside and the number 44 Ford, followed by the 47 of Andrew Miller with the 15 of Matt Watkins, our 2020 A segment champion. Pace cars off. Cars come through the famous Talladega Superspeedway tri-oval. They wait for the green flag to be waved, and green flag is back out. We are back underway here at Talladega.
Great restart by the 14 there, and it looks like he will clear the 44. 44 going to duck in behind him. Perfectly played. That sets him up in a great spot here.
Yeah, Ryan, it was a nice restart for the 14 and the 44. And look at that high side. They got the numbers now. It's 5-2. That's going to leave the 47, or sorry, the 47 and the 36 hanging out to dry out there.
Well, it's really interesting seeing the 36 keep up as well as he is. He had that huge accident on the front stretch. You would think he'd be a lot more off pace. He's not doing a bad job right now. Gonna slide right up behind Cal Lovell. Austin Hake's not having any of it. Gonna dive to the bottom.
Yeah, and speaking of Austin, Davey, that's a good point. Look at him. He's just trying to stay alive. There he goes, moving up to the high side. Something to note, he's only one lap. Remember, fast racing rules. If you have a mechanical issue that forces you out of the racetrack and into the garage, you come back in. You can get all but one laps back for your first offense. He might have a shot at this if we have another yellow.
Well, that yellow's going to have to come pretty quickly here. As your top 5 is the 14 of Trey Coleman, the 44 of Michael Murata, the 15 of Matt Watkins, the 1 of Zach Krastowski, and the 99 of Cal Lovell. My apologies.
44 is looking a little antsy here. I think he might be getting pinball back and forth. He's right on the 14's bumper, and the 15's right on him. It's go time. I don't think these drivers are going to wait till the very end. They don't want to risk like last week and miss out on a last lap race if a caution comes out.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough right now, Ryan. See, they're all in a single file line, it looks like, on the high side. He's got to poke out and make a move. No one's willing to yet. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Looks like the 36 peaking low, but it doesn't look like he's going to have much momentum down there.
14 had a transponder issue right there through the end of the trial for a quick second. Had to send the fear of God through the 44 and the 15 as they race this closely. You see a little wiggle there. They're getting a little antsy. We're getting a little antsy here coming down the backstretch.
You already see some guys who are trying to make moves kind of getting shuffled out of line right now. 47 dropping, going to probably pull in behind the 66. He will. Looks like everyone. It looks like now is the time where drivers are starting to size each other up. This is what you're talking about, Joe. I think this is now the time when you're seeing what everyone's got. You're seeing what everyone wants to do and what they're willing to do to get to the front.
We come to 11 laps remaining in this race. Yeah, I mean, you're watching this high line that was really up in that third groove. Before this last caution, of course it goes up there right as I'm about to say something, but you're kind of seeing it migrate closer to the bottom so those drivers can protect their inside. The shorter way around this track is faster when you're by yourself.
Now, speaking of by yourself, looks like the 36 car of Jeff Dixon, who was involved in that earlier hard crash right by the start and finish line, kind of fallen off from the pack now. Looks like he sustained some bad damage, and he's not able to keep up with the group.
Yeah, and he's a lap down as well, which does not help the situation. Looks like he's going to take it down pit road here.
As we come through the tri-oval to the line, we're going to be coming to our TWB 10 laps to go. Take it away, Tommy.
Yeah, Joe, thank you. With 10 laps to go here by TWB, we reached the point in the race where yellow flags cause drivers to now race back to the line. It's no longer freeze the field. Remember, we don't have scoring loops around the track. It's a line from here on out, so going to be an interesting finish if we have any yellows. Looks like Michael Murata, a little bit of transponder issues there. He stays in line in second place behind Trey Coleman.
And again, I'd like to apologize for any transponder issues that we have in our video truck outside of turn 4 here at Talladega. You see the 28 working with the 66. He's going to try to get his lap back the hard way there on the bottom.
I think they can do it, but they need some more people to work with them. And that may be the move there. Looks like we got the leaders shifting down to the bottom line.
The 47 is getting really antsy, making a lot of moves. He's been looking high, and now he's looking low. Not going to be able to get any position on the 66. I think the 47 is getting antsy. He's making a lot of aggressive moves. Something to watch out for. He could help, and he could kill a line if he tries to make a move like that. There's a lot of possibilities when you move out to make a pass that risky.
Oh, the 66 makes a big move to the outside of the 28. Looks like he's going to try to get that outside line working again.
Yeah, right now Alex Gordon wants that lead. He's trying to make something on the outside work. It looks like the numbers are a little bit even. Now he goes down back low. You see those three cars working together. That's the same group that worked from the back of the field to the front just a dozen laps or so ago. And right now they're looking to lead this pack. Looks like Michael Murata right now behind Trey Coleman in second place.
And 8 laps remaining here. You're seeing that intensity ramp up. These guys, they're getting closer to each other and closer and closer, and eventually they're going to close in so tight that it's going to be 8 wheels working against 4. Coming down the backstretch, the 14 continues to lead, but the 44 getting antsy, looking at peeking to the inside and outside.
Ryan, you have a lot of experience here at Superspeedways. Of course, you've won at Talladega before over in the Insomniac Racing League days, but that was on fuel mileage. If you're Michael Murata right now in second place, what is your plan to win this race with Trey Coleman right in front of you, but your teammates right behind?
Well, Tommy, I'm telling my spotter to go over to that 28 crew, get him, if you can get him on board to make a move. You don't want to wait until the end for that risk of that yellow coming out and ending the race prematurely. You just can't sit and wait as we hit 7 to go. But I've been doing everything I can as soon as possible to get around. I know a lot of people, they like to wait until the last lap to make that move. That may not be an option. He may have to go sooner rather than later if he really wants to have a shot. So the best chance is to get some friends now before everyone starts battling for themselves.
Davey, is it go time?
It's go time. It's go time right now. You know, you see the outside line, they're working really hard to stay organized, but the bottom line is so well organized, so, you know, it's going to be hard to fight that. Oh, Sean Whitehill loose off of turn 4. Keeps it under him. Great save.
What a save.
It's going to kill that outside line, though. It's going to absolutely kill the foul racing that we were having, for sure.
So we hit
That
6
puts the
to go.
47 back leading up the outside line. I know he's not been afraid to make some moves. That may be the kind of guy you want leading the line. We'll see if they can get going here. Yep, there they go up to work with him.
47 is definitely going to be the guy that they're going to follow if someone makes a move here. He's looking low now. Michael Morano looking for the lead.
Might have been a little bit of contact heading into turn 3 here. Look at that high line. Now Trey Coleman's left alone. There's the 47 behind him to help him. Looks like Michael Murata is going to take the lead out of turn number 4 going into the tri-oval.
He's going to come out of the tri-oval.
5 laps to go.
He's going to see the flagman holding out 5 fingers, signaling it is 5 laps to go. We are almost to the point of no return, meaning that if a caution comes out, it will end the race. 28 looks like he peeks to the outside.
Now it's important to remember the 28 is a lap down. He's not racing for anything. He's waiting for the caution. It might be too late for that, but he's just there. He's pushing the 44. He doesn't have a dog in the fight right now.
Now, if you're a lap down and you're stuck between 2 of your friends, you got the guy behind you telling you, go, make a move, go, I'll push you so I can get by that guy that's in front of you. And the guy in front of you is yelling at you, keep that guy behind. What do you do?
I mean, if it were me, I'm now and I'm letting the race go on. It's getting too late. I think the cautions are a little too long here at Dega. If it's me and it's heading this race, I'm pulling out a line. I'm a lap down. There's nothing for me here. You know, I'm going to let these guys race it out, but that's my opinion.
Well, you take a look at the 47 trying to make a move on the inside there. Man, he looks like he doesn't have much help except from our former leader, Trey Coleman, who's fallen all the way back. Outside of the top 5, guys, going from the lead to back there. Looks like we've got a lap car up ahead. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. He's out of the way easy.
As they come through turns 3 and 4, 44 pulls up, trying to get that momentum going again on the outside. I don't know. I'd start trying to protect that double yellow line. They come through the tri-oval. They will get 3 laps remaining to go in this race.
That's my pick, leading the field right now. Time's ticking down, and I'll tell you what, unless you believe in miracles, this one could be over for Trey Coleman in the 14. He was leading earlier, but he's going to need a whale of a run back up to the front as we're slicing and dicing up front. Michael Murata looking to block on the inside of the 28 car. Remember, that 28 car of Austin Higgs a lap down. The second place is that 3rd car in line, the 66. Ryan, how does that impact things from Michael's perspective?
It's right now 28's Mikey's best friend, and he's loving it right now. That extra car, that's one extra car that they're going to have to get around just to have a shot at him. That looks like he might be making the move there. It looks like we got a battle there for a second. Right now, that 28 is his best friend, though. He has a car length between the 2 guys that want to dethrone him.
It sure does, and look at that, the 66 falling back now, and Michael Murata's looking high to block. He's got Matt Watkins on the inside behind him. No longer a teammate, instead someone else that wants to take the lead. And now Alex Gordon falling back on the outside behind Austin Higgs. Michael Murata's going to have to choose which lane to block from here on out.
And he's got to block that bottom lane. He's got to hope that the outside can kind of keep even with the 15. So they go down to 3 and 4 for the second to last time.
Hey,
just 2 laps to go. Go ahead, Davey.
Sorry, it begs the question, like, what are you looking for in a partner right now? What kind of momentum are you looking for? Where are you looking to make the pass? These are all the things that are running through the driver's mind right now off of turn 4, heading to the white flag.
As we come through the tri-oval, hopefully everyone makes it back here the next time around. White flag is in the air. They're going to get it this time by Michael Murata in the lead, followed by Matt Watkins and Zach Krastowski.
White flag, and I'm telling you what, Joe, you saw that time it took to get from the tri-oval to the start and finish line. Remember, here at Talladega, start-finish line isn't in the tri-oval. It's a little bit towards turn 1, so there's going to be a little bit more racing to do. Head to the line for the final time. On the backstretch out of turn 2, Michael Murata leads that inside line.
Yeah, he's got to hope that the 15 doesn't get a run. The 15 peeks to the outside. The 1 goes with the 15.
Let's see what he can do. That outside line's been strong all time here at the race. Looks like the 1 car isn't enough for the 15 to get up there. A little bit of contact on the right rear.
The 44 is going to have to block. He goes high. He goes low. Through the tri-oval. The 44, Michael Murata. He's going to have no challenge for the win as the battle is on for second. The 44 of Michael Murata will win here at Talladega, followed by the 99 of Cal Laval.
Wow, what a finish there. That was where did Cal Laval come from?
Where did he come from? It looks like he'll finish second, followed by the 15, and Trey Coleman finishes fourth.
What a race here tonight, guys. My pick 1. How about that? Michael Murata and the number 44 Motorcraft Ford. Oh, man, what a race we had there. And Davey, Cal Laval, great charge at the end there to pick up second place.
Yeah, I had faith in him as my pick. I knew Mikey was going to be a tough car to pass. It's really hard to get a run going that late in the game in a super speedway race. But you can't be disappointed with Michael Murata taking that.
As you watch the battle again coming through the tri-oval, it just the 44 he got ahead. He did it. Tommy, your pick 1. How do you feel?
I feel fantastic, Joe. But it's not about me. It's about Michael Murata, that team, for running a great race all night long. Man, he got to the lead ahead of Trey Coleman with just a couple laps to go. That lead amongst all the cars behind him that were trying to go for it and take it away from him. And he's going to leave today at Talladega with a trophy in hand as he heads down to the start and finish line to take checkered flag and do a little bit of celebrating for the fans.
Again,
Well, he can't.